Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a strong, visible and impressive six-pack. The type of ads that completely transforms a physique. The kind you see on Hollywood action movies, the kind that instantly makes somebody look athletic, disciplined and in shape. And no, this is not just about starving yourself and doing 500 crunches every day. Because after almost 10 years of training, competing as a natural bodybuilder and coaching hundreds of people, I realized there are 3 things that actually determine whether your abs look average or insane. And honestly, most people completely misunderstand the first 2, which is exactly why so many people train hard for years but never get the look they want. You see guys training abs every day, doing random circuits, doing 15-minute ab workouts from YouTube, sweating a lot, feeling the burn, but still having absolutely no visible abs. And then you see somebody else barely training abs, yet somehow their core still looks incredible. Why is that? That's exactly what we are going to break down in this video. Because having a strong and visible six-pack is a combination of different things: genetics, proper training, and getting lean enough. You miss one of these and your abs will never fully pop. So let's start with the uncomfortable truth: genetics. And yes, genetics matter way more than people want to admit. Now, before people get emotional in the comments, this doesn't mean you can't improve your abs. You definitely can. It simply means that everybody starts from a different baseline. Your abs are one of the muscle groups that vary massively from person to person. Some people naturally have a 4-pack, some other people have a 6-pack, other people have an 8-pack, thicker blocks, flatter abs, wider separation, the gap in the middle, tighter separations. It depends. Some people naturally have deeper cuts between the abs, others have a smoother look. Some people naturally store more fat around their waist, others store more. And unfortunately, you cannot completely change your natural structure. That's simply part of being you. If you weren't born with an 8-pack abs, you're not magically going to create a 8 abs through training. That's not how anatomy works. And honestly, I think social media sometimes creates unrealistic expectations, because people compare themselves to the fitness influencers with elite genetics without realizing that genetics are playing a massive role. For example, for me personally, my abs have always been one of my strongest body parts. And even when I was younger and not fully into bodybuilding, I still naturally had visible abs. I had thick blocks, a big separation in the middle, and a naturally aesthetic structure. That's genetics. Now, does that mean I didn't train hard? Of course not. I did so much work on them. But it does mean I started from a more favorable position than some other people. And understanding this is actually important because it stops you from having unrealistic expectations. You should focus on maximizing your physique and on the variables that you can control. Genetics is not one of those. And if I have to be honest with you, a lot of people have already the potential to build a great six-pack, but just never fully develop it properly. Which brings us to the point number 2: actually training your abs properly. And this is where almost everybody completely messes up, because most people treat abs differently from every other muscle group. Think about it. If somebody wants bigger legs, they progressively overload squats. If somebody wants a bigger chest, they progressively overload presses. If somebody wants bigger shoulders, they progressively overload lateral raises and presses. But when it comes to abs, people suddenly think, let me just do random body weight exercises for 20 minutes. No resistance, no progression, no overload, no structure. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Your abs are muscles, which means they respond to stimulus exactly like every other muscle in the body. They need tension, progression, overload, recovery. This is why I personally believe most ab training advice online is terrible. People are obsessed with high reps, random circuits, feeling the burn, sweating, but the burn itself doesn't automatically equal growth. And honestly, doing 200 crunches with no resistance is a little bit like trying to grow your legs by repeatedly sitting down on a chair and standing back up. Yes, technically your muscles are moving, but the stimulus is extremely low. Low resistance creates low tension. Low tension creates low stimulus. Low stimulus means you're not building muscle. This is why weighted ab training completely changes the game. The moment you start progressively overloading your abs, they start responding very differently. Now, personally, after years of training and coaching hundreds of people, there are 3 types of movements I consider extremely important for building a strong and impressive core. Movement number 1, a crunch movement. This is the movement pattern most directly responsible for developing the actual rectus abdominis, the six-pack muscle itself. Exercises like cable crunches, machine crunches, weighted decline crunches can be incredibly effective. And the reason these work so well is because they allow you to progressively overload the movement safely, meaning that you can gradually increase resistance over time, which is exactly how muscle growth happens. Now, one mistake people make with crunches is doing them too fast, swinging the body around, using momentum, barely controlling the eccentric. Instead, just like with every other movement, you want controlled reps, actually curling the spine, actually shortening the abs, and actually creating tension. That mind-muscle connection makes a massive difference. Now, movement number 2, an isometric movement. And the king here is the plank. Not the basic bodyweight plank everybody posts on Instagram, the weighted plank. Because again, bodyweight alone eventually stops being enough. And honestly, most people doing planks aren't even doing them correctly. Their hips are sagging, core isn't engaged, glutes relaxed, lower back taking over. But once you learn how to properly brace your core, squeeze your glutes, keep the pelvis stable and progressively add resistance, weighted planks become incredibly powerful. Not only for building stronger abs, but also improving total core stability. And this translates massively into other compound lifts as well. Squats, deadlift, overhead pressing, and even athletic performance. A strong core improves everything. Now, movement number 3. This one is my special one because after almost 10 years of training, this still remains one of the hardest core exercises I do, the dragon flag. This humbles people very fast. The reason why it's so effective is because your entire core has to fight gravity while keeping your body rigid. You can't fake this movement. Either your core is strong enough or it isn't. And what makes the dragon flag so good is that it trains the core in a much more functional and demanding way than basic crunches alone. You develop insane tension, insane control, insane core strength. There are also multiple progressions you can do. You can start with tuck dragon flags, negatives, one leg variations, straddle variations, before eventually reaching a full dragon flag. And once you get strong enough, you can also do deficit dragon flags, which are absolutely brutal. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to master this exercise immediately. It takes time, coordination, practice, but if your goal is building the next level core, this movement is unbelievable. So overall, crunch movement, isometric movement, and a anti-extension movement. That combination works incredibly well. Now, finally, we need to talk about the thing that determines whether your abs are actually visible: body fat percentage. Because this is the part most people don't want to hear. You can have elite genetics, strong abs, thick abs, great training, but if your body fat is too high, nobody will ever see them, which means getting lean enough is a non-negotiable. Abs are built in the gym but revealed through body fat percentage. And this is where nutrition becomes critically important. Now, personally, I don't believe in extreme crash diets. Most people fail diets because they try to do it too hard. They slash calories aggressively, remove all carbs, and do endless cardio. And after 2 weeks, they binge eat everything. Instead, a moderate calorie deficit usually works much better. Generally around 10 to 15% below maintenance calories. So if your maintenance is around 2,500 calories, a 250 to 375 calorie deficit is usually a great starting point. This allows you to lose fat consistently, maintain performance, recover properly, and preserve muscle mass. And most importantly, actually stick to the diet long term. Because consistently is what gets people lean, not perfection. Another massive tip: prioritize high volume whole foods, because processed foods are incredibly easy to overeat. You can eat 1,000 calories of junk food in 10 minutes without even realizing it, but eating 1,000 calories of lean protein, potatoes, rice, vegetables, and fruit is a lot harder. Whole foods naturally increase satiety, meaning you stay fuller while eating fewer calories, which makes the dieting process dramatically easier. Protein intake is also very important. Personally, I like keeping protein relatively high during a cut, usually at around 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. This helps preserve muscle mass, improve recovery, and manage hunger. And honestly, the leaner you get, the more discipline matters, because getting from average shape to truly visible abs requires a lot of consistency, especially during the last final stages of the cut. That's where most people quit. But if you stay consistent long enough, the results will eventually come. So to recap, number 1, genetics matter. Number 2, actually train your abs properly. And number 3, get lean enough to reveal them. That's the formula. And trust me, this comes from somebody who has to bring shredded abs on stage almost every single year. Now, if you have been training hard but still struggling to get lean, struggling to build visible abs, or struggling to finally achieve the physique you want, there's a link below where you can apply for a free consultation call with me. I'll personally break down what's holding you back, what you need to improve, and exactly what your next steps should be. So if you're serious about transforming your body over the next few months, click the link below, let's have a chat and see if I can help you. And if you found the video useful, subscribe to my channel for more tips on how to get in the best shape of your life.